Welcome to the video series for the SAScon 2026 Sideboards tournament. This tournament uses Delta points and allows VC figures. If you haven't played the Sideboards format before, the general idea is that you bring an army core, which you will then play every round, and some amount of additional pieces that can be added to it, where each round you get to see what your opponent's army is before adding your additional pieces. I'll put the exact format up on screen here, but for this event it was structured as a core with two sideboards, where each round you selected one of your two sideboards to add to the army core. I think one of the strongest ways to construct armies for sideboards is to make the core of the army something that is generally strong into most armies, and then have the additional pieces have high matchup variance, meaning that they're either very strong or very weak depending on what they're facing, where you can then choose whichever one counters your opponent's army core the best. Examples of this high variance matchup type unit include Ashra, targeting melee units, or Phantom Knights or Goblin Cutters targeting ranged commons. One thing that I noticed early on when I was looking at this format was that 4x Ashra and 3x Phantom Knights were the exact same point total, and that total fit within the sideboard's limit, which makes for a really nice sideboards pairing under this premise. Since this was a Delta event, most units are viable to some degree, so instead of focusing on which units are generally strongest, you can instead ask the simpler question, which units form a good army core that work well with multiple possible additions, in this case Phantom Knights and Ashra. One example of that type of unit that I didn't end up going with is Maladrix with the Festering Honor Guard. Maladrix is generally strong into lots of things, and pairs well with lots of different common squads that could be used to fill out the two sideboards. However, I went in a different direction this time, and am going to construct my army core as an Ordo pod. I did this both because I'm a bit on a mission to get Ordo massively nerfed in Delta, because I think they should be given an unfun tax of sorts, as they incentivize very degenerate playstyles with very little movement or dynamic gameplay, and because the Ordo pod fits pretty perfectly here. Ordo, Concan, and Alder Knights is 230 points. I ended up adding Marku to that core as well, because Ordo can be quite vulnerable to Wannick, as they don't move particularly well. I then decided to pair that core with an anti-melee piece in the Ashra X4, and the anti-ranged piece in PK's X3. Ashra serve to screen for the Ordo against melee builds, where it takes the melee a long time to get through the Ashra, and Ordo are shooting at them with high attacks that whole time. And Phantom Knights can kill anything that might outrange the Ordo, which is one of their near auto-loss matchups normally, as if they move, they can't shoot on the same turn, so longer range units can just keep stepping back and shooting from more than 7 range each turn. Phantom Knights also have the nice benefit that they pair with Concan, who's already in the army core with the Ordo. So that's the plan. Run a degenerate Ordo pod in the hopes of crushing this event with it, and then ultimately getting Ordo more expensive in Delta. Let's see how it goes.